and 4. The battle is on. It's going to be too close to call side by side. Long Joe gets it. Oh, we got contact. We got flips. We got big wrecks here. Going back to the front because we're racing back to the line.
William Page with the victory.
Looking for second here.
Gonna
he's going to use that apron.
He's going to use the apron.
They're going to be side by side. Coming off the corner. Boy, back to the inside. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Tom Musa gets it.
Tom Musa, where did he come from?
Boyer trying to close the gap. He's going to get to the bumper. Oh, just barely did not make it. And coming off of turn 4, Jeff Sikenis is going to win it at Dover.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome once again to another night of TMP Racing Series action here live on JTN. Tonight, we head to the heart of the South, the Atlanta Motor Speedway, newly reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway for the title event for the TMP Cup Series. Tonight, once again, we have 5 drivers vying for that title, going for a championship, and we also have that overall title looming in the balance next week from the Michigan International Speedway. So happy you're joining us here tonight. I am Joe Twansky, your voice up here in the JTN booth tonight. So thankful to be joined by my broadcast colleague, Mr. Joseph Weaver.
Hey, how you doing, Joe? And how's everybody at home doing? Hope you're ready for some fun racing tonight on this newly reconfigured, repaved blacktop surface of Atlanta Motor Speedway.
It's a repaved surface, it's a reconfigured surface. Going to be a fun time here tonight on JTN. We mentioned that overall championship looming in the balance, Weaver. And now as we put our graphic up on the screen again, thank you to Roger Nebelsack. 9 drivers tonight after the tie between Doug Palmer and Rich Fenkel. Last week, 9 drivers advanced to this round, vying for 4 spots next week at Michigan.
Yeah, Joe, a lot to be racing for here. You got to get yourself into that next round if you want a chance at the championship next week. But there's also a race to win tonight, and that's also going to be looming in the mind of these drivers.
And that race to win tonight, oh so important, especially for 5 of these drivers also involved in that overall championship. They are, of course, the 6 of Rich Knappick, the 33 of Tom Fast Cows Goodman, the 7 of Mike Hartman, 51 of Roger Nebelsack, and, of course, the 41 of Josh Boyer. Who would have thought Josh Boyer in a championship battle? Everyone would have thought that.
Very tough competitor there from Josh Boyer. Always one to look out for.
But you'll see those qualifying times starting to creep across the top of your screen. Welcome into Barbara, Mackenzie, Ann. Thank you so much for tuning in here tonight. So glad to see you back watching some JTN here on a Monday night. Again, qualifying currently underway. Going to be going for 130 laps tonight. Our halfway break going to be at lap 66. And Weaver, of course, it's a unique racetrack tonight. We were here a couple weeks ago with the Fast Racing League at a slightly different configuration where the grass was all the way up next to the racing surface. Tonight, these drivers a little extra room to play with there with that line. It's still out of bounds, but at least a little extra safety net.
Yeah, for all your viewers at home, if you think you know anything about this Atlanta Motor Speedway before, you got to throw that all away. We're going to see some very new, exciting racing here. Something that you might have seen with the real-life Cup guys doing it, but it's still remarkable how different the racing here is with this reconfigured layout.
29-second lap time taking the pole tonight. We were running 28s, high 27s if you had enough cars in the draft. Earlier in practice. It's going to be a fun one. And Weaver, with qualifying all complete, why don't you take us through tonight's starting lineup?
I'm having a little problem with my monitor here in front of me. If you could do that for me.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
I would appreciate that.
All right, folks. So starting on the pole, going to be one of our championship contenders, Roger Nebelsack, joined by another contender, Rich Knappich, to his outside. Row number 2 going to be comprised of Rod Weston and Tom Faskows. Mike Hartman and Tom Moose are going to make up row number 3 with Richard Finkel and Ron Milkey in row 4. Rounding out your top 10 going to be this 78 of Wade Driscoll and the 108 of John Dog Palmer. Rolling off just outside the top 10 and 11th is going to be Dan Rubino in the 44, with Matt Bergeron returning to the series in the 77, rolling off in 12th. Aiden Roberson in the number 48 rolls off 13th, and shotgun on the field tonight is the 41 of Josh Boyer, rolling off in the 14th position. So 14 drivers here tonight. Good sized field, not too big, not too small. Always a interesting combination here, especially on one of these super speedway-esque tracks.
I don't even know if you really have to add the esque at the end. It really does race like a super speedway, Joe. We're going to be seeing some drafting, some two-car tandems maybe even.
I would love to see two-car tandems. I don't know how I will be so giddy up here in the booth. Again, this was your Circle Beat ICAST TMP Cup Series race preview. Remember to use code JTN at checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more.
Josh Boyer going to be trying to go from the back to the front, starting dead last in the field. You know, he's usually somebody to look out for the win. See if he can get it done from his starting position.
And a couple, I mentioned a couple of faces in there that we haven't seen the last couple times we've been out here with the TMP Cup Series. Aiden Roberson, one of them here in this 48.
Yeah, seeing some new faces. It always seems to happen like that, Joe. You get to that final race in the season, and then everybody wants to come run the championship race. It just adds that extra level of excitement and unknown into a championship battle.
And it's all these extra variables, right? They're variables that maybe you just can't quite grip in the moment coming into this race. You have to feel the race out again. We get that halfway break at lap 66. I think that'll be big for our championship drivers. That's the mark where you want to set, okay, where am I relative to these guys? Where do I need to make up some ground? You want to win this TMP Cup Series championship, but you also, for all of those drivers, you want to move on to next week in Michigan.
Yeah, Joe, and you talk about how similar this track is to a super speedway. I wonder if we don't see some drivers maybe choosing to fall to the back and, you know, hang out for that first half of the race knowing that they're going to get that halfway break.
Want to give a big shout out because I see him in chat. Wild Customs and Cars, John Norton. Big shout out, a big thank you from all the guys here at TMP and us here on JTN for allowing us to use this track before its release. Hopefully later this week. I know that was the latest update I heard. You can correct me if I'm wrong, of course, and if you want to stay up to date, if you want to, I know sometimes we get some comments about where are the tracks, where are the tracks, where are the tracks. You can again search Wild Customs and Cars right here on Google, on your internet browser. It's the first thing that pops up, so kudos for that. But Wild Customs and Cars, go check them out. Got a bunch of great stuff up on there, and we are so glad to be honored with the privilege of running this track here tonight.
Is a very good looking track. Something about these fresh repays when they got that fresh black top asphalt out there. It's got a very interesting and unique look to it.
A very unique look. It's really, again, there are so many things at play here tonight. So many things that are maybe outside of these drivers' control. How often, I mean, do we see these races where it's a super speedway? Let's just call it what it is, I guess. It's a super speedway, and we're battling for a championship. I've heard the argument a couple times about if Daytona's good enough to open up our season, why isn't it good enough to end it? And tonight we kind of put that to the test.
Yeah, Joe, I think if you want an exciting race to finish it off, no better than a super speedway. It really evens out the playing field as far as who might have an advantage on a track basis. You know, some people are better at a short track, some people are better at the intermediates. Kind of a even playing ground. There are some that have mastered the art of the draft in the super speedways, but overall, I'd call it a more even playing field than some other track types.
Even the playing field for these 14 drivers here tonight. It's a welcome sign for some. It's a scary proposition for others. One guy that for certain was maybe a little nervous coming into this reconfiguration here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So dominant last time we were here at the TMP Cup Series. Roger Nebelsack, your pole sitter. As you hear the command to get these cars fired on up, we get ready to go racing with Roger Nebelsack lining up and rolling off in row number 1 next to a fellow championship contender in Rich Knappich in the 6. Rod Weston and Tom Fascow's rolling off in row number 2 with Mike Hartman and Tom Musa, row number 3. Rich Fankel and Ron Milkey in row 4 as Hartman's going to spin the tires into the outside wall. I think that might end up being a restart. That's going to be a restart. Weaver, do you want to give me your line about the backup cars?
Yeah, everybody gonna have a chance to go back to the garage, pull out those faster than their current car backup cars. Slight mistake there on the banking, getting it gassed up. Easy to slip up. New track configuration here, high, steep banking, easy to get the tires spinning out from under you like that.
Field lined up once again on the pit lane, getting gridded up as we get ready to go racing here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. If you're Mike Hartman, you're battling for this championship. I guess it can only go up from here, right?
It can't get worse.
Good looking Doritos Dodge Challenger there for the 7. Who are we waiting on? Roger Nebelsack going to fire up first from the pole. Rich Knappich to the outside. And it's Rod Weston, Tom Fascow's, Mike Hartman, Tom Musa, Rich Fankel, Ron Milkey, Wade Driscoll, Doug Palmer, Dan Rubino, Matt Bergeron, Aiden Roberson, and Josh Boyer. Weaver, I saw a random car just pop up on the grid. I wonder who was behind the wheel of that one.
I'm not too sure, Joe. I guess they didn't feel like racing tonight. Figured they'd just watch.
Maybe we'll dial them up. We'll try to get a word from the Field Care Center. Roger Nebelsack gonna line up from row number 1 on the poles, trying to snuggle up not only to a championship but a race win here tonight to move on to next week's ASRA National Championship finale from the Michigan International Speedway.
You talked earlier about the 51 crew, maybe not feeling the best about this track type, but putting that thing on pole is definitely a good way to calm those jitters.
And like I said, really good here last year with the Cup cars. In that 51, that snuggle forward, was able to lead a bunch of laps, qualify up front. Something has... You have momentum at these tracks, even if they change. You know where to go, you know where to eat, you know where your hotel is, where to park your rental car. Familiarity definitely helps. Roger Nebelsack lining up with control for this race. We wait to see the green flag dropped. There it is, green flag, and we are underway here for the TMP Cup Series season finale.
Nebelsack getting a good jump there on the inside line. Going to be clear going into turn 1 as a single file for the top 3 spots.
Now back Mike Hartman and Tom Fascow's battling for the 4th position. Fascow's to the outside. Those two challengers racing down the back straightaway. So give lap 1 to Nebelsack.
Hartman just able to clear him there off turn 4, take over that 4th spot.
And Weaver, I think there are a lot of folks down as the Wade Driscoll's in the wall at the back of the field. That 78 Mountain Dew Ford up into the wall. He gets it out of the wall.
It looked like there was a few cars there flirting with that high side, getting as close as they can to that wall.
Dan Rubino doing it a little bit there. Weaver, we talked about it. A lot of drivers not so sure, not so certain as Rich Napick looks for the lead to the inside. Not so sure about how this race would play out. Got a lot of practice throughout the week here, testing, tire tests and the like. As Rich Napick going to take the lead down into 3. But still a lot of uncertainty in how this race was going to play out. And that's for these Championship 5 drivers tonight. It's got to be a little troublesome.
Yeah, you know, I think the way we're seeing them race right now is kind of proving that hesitance. We're seeing them kind of running a more reserve race. Musa hard in the wall for 1 and 2 there.
He's going to keep scraping it, let the rest of the field on by.
Yeah, looks like for the most part we're seeing a little more reserve strategy by these drivers right now. Single file, just, you know, picking up a spot when you can, but being smart, picking your battles.
Yeah, we saw a lot of pushing, right? We saw a lot of pushing in practice earlier tonight, and not seeing that same aggression this early on in the race, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, all these drivers know we got a long race, 130 laps ahead of us, so you ain't gonna be there at the end if you wreck your car early. Contact between Hartman on the front stretch with Harmon and Fast Cows.
Ian Roberson down to the bottom, making a pass there on Roger Nebelsack for position.
No, Joe, I think it was the last time we were here for the Cup Series at TMP. It was, I believe it was Talladega. That 6er Rich Napick was also at the front of the field then. Familiar scenes for him at this type of racetrack.
The familiarity with the racing style is another thing. I think probably we'll talk. Gets talked about a lot, especially on these super speedways where the draft is so crucial. But a lot has to be said about having the momentum of being a championship contender, right? Being in the hunt for a title, you get a little extra pep in your step throughout the week. You're probably going to get a little extra slack cut to you by maybe some of these other drivers tonight that aren't going for the championship here in the Cup Series. But then you also, here in TMP and the ASRA, you have this weird balance through these final 3 races, through these final 3 weeks that we're covering here on JTN, where you also have that overall championship looming. And right now for Rich Napick is maybe a little bump there to the back of the 48, sends him up. Doug Palmer looking for position with the 108 on the bottom. Maybe for Rich Napick, that little extra pep in his step coming to a track where he feels like he's really good as Dan Rubino hard into the wall. Nebelsack into the back of him. He's going to spin through the grass, catch a little bit of air. We stay green. Nebelsack back going straight. Dan Rubino still straight. And for Roger Nebelsack, that is a killer. He's spinning down onto the pit lane.
Tough break there for championship contender Roger Nebelsack. As you say, spinning around, got very lucky. It looked like that car wanted to catch air and go up and over. Thankfully, you saw those roof flaps and hood flaps deploy, kept that car down on the ground.
See a replay of it coming off of turn number 4. The 51 there in the outside. 44 going to go smack into the outside wall. Nebelsack gets into the back of him and is just kind of spinning around. That sends the 51 for a wild spin through the grass. Roger able to drive away from it. We go back live with Rich Napick still your leader. It's about 7-car breakaway at the front of the field. Top 5 really tight together on each other. And Weaver, we can only go about 19 laps on a tank of gas here tonight, so we're closing in on that first pit window.
Yeah, closing in on it. Everybody, we're running a little draft train right here. Rich Napick might be a little short on fuel by, half a lap or so coming in here. He's been leading a lot of laps. Something to look out for. If you're going to be leading, you're going to be burning more fuel. Joe, you also touched on Usually, if you're running for a championship in the final race in these point
Oh,
formats,
77.
points formats where you have a playoff system where there's only a few people really in the battle for the championship in the final race. You talk about catching breaks from others, but Mike Hartman and 108 getting
There was no
close
break.
there.
No break there, huh?
You don't get cut as many breaks now with so many people vying for that overall championship, like you said, amongst the 3 series here.
It's just such an interesting format. I think that for a lot of drivers, it's great. For the drivers, you get to race all these different disciplines throughout the year. You get to do the short tracks with the late models as the 7's into the wall once again, coming off of turn number 4. You get to do all these different disciplines. The Indy cars, of course, you're doing these really high-speed ovals as fast counts really close to Rod Weston there through 1 and 2. And you can see that I think the tires are starting to go away on for a lot of these guys, seeing some more lifting through the corners. But it's Roberson, Fast Cows, they keep doing things, Weaver, and my train of thought just keeps getting derailed.
They're not giving you any breaks to think tonight. We're seeing some very close racing here. Like you said, tires look to be like they might be falling away here in the later parts of this run. Should be getting a pit stop here within the next 5 laps.
Do you think short pitting is a strategy here tonight? I mean, we're seeing these guys, they are getting tight off the corners right now.
You know, Joe, I know you've always been a big fan of the short pit strategy, but I think you really just got to go as long as you can, especially if you can maybe save some tires and hold on to it a little bit longer. You've seen that 48's kind of been moving through the field late in this race.
Weaver, I'm not a fan of the short pit. I'm a fan of the pit by myself strategy. That's the strategy I'm a fan of.
My thought process was always stay out as long as you can, because the likelihood that somebody's going to wreck getting to pit road is a lot higher.
Yeah, I agree.
Stay out, see if you get the yellow.
You save a little fuel for the first, 5 laps of the run. You also get a little bit extra on your tires.
Yeah, that is a good way to do it.
And keep an eye to see if hands start getting thrown out of windows, signaling coming to the pit lane. There he goes, the 6, the 19 in the wall, 33 to the back of him. He spins across the track. No caution.
No caution, but the 33 and the 48 going to lose a lot of time having to check up there.
Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and get a replay. You saw it live. Bristol knows where all the action is tonight. That's going to be a big night derailer for Rod Weston.
A very tough break. He's going to be back there running with Roger Nebelsick after an incident like that. Oh, you get some contact on pit road between the 44 and the 2. Bino looked like he was coming out of his pit stall as Fankel was coming in. You know, when we did our fast race a couple weeks ago, I don't think we ever got to see green flag pit stops. I never really thought about how difficult it might be at a track like this with the high speeds that you're running in the corner, and you never really get a chance to get to some flat ground before you have to get on that apron and get down for pit road.
Beaver, this cycle's so weird. Where exactly is our leader?
See where they cross the line at here. Looks like we're going to be side by side actually battling for the lead with the 6 and the 41.
That is true. You gotta love the spins here. Good thing we got the halfway break tonight, right? I think there's a lot of drivers probably pretty happy to see that.
Yeah, it's something you can fall back on. Usually, you'd get upset at an incident like that if you don't get a yellow, but you got to think in the back of your head, you do have that halfway break that you can look forward to. Going to help you out a little bit there. See, Ron Milkey also up to third after that pit stop cycle, able to gain some good spots. Looks like we got a pretty solid 3-car breakaway here for the lead. Next closest competitor is Rich Fankel. It's about 7 seconds back last time by.
Now that we've gotten through our first set of green flag pit stops, probably 2 more to come, I would think, before the end of this first half of the race. What do you look at now? Because there's points to be paid at that halfway, right? If you're up inside the top 5, I do believe the number is. And right now you got 3 guys that are kind of have all broken away from the rest of the field. Do these 3 work together through this stage to continue to build their lead? Or if you're Josh Boyer, Ron Milkey, Rich Knappich, are you trying to maybe distance yourself more from these guys? Because the draft is important, yeah, but we really haven't seen anyone able to catch them. It's weird. This track is really, really weird in the sense of the configuration and kind of the racing it has fostered here in its creation.
Well, I think we're kind of seeing it with some of these cars now that are truly running by themselves with no draft help. You're still losing a lot of time out there. I think if you're in this top 3, Ron Milkey, Josh Boyer, Rich Knappich, you're wanting to stay together and keep that little draft train going. You're going to hold that nice gap you got to the 4th place car. And they only have about a 3-4 car pack back there, so I assume they're going to be trying to get gathered up and run a similar strategy to try and catch down this group of 3 leading the race.
You go back to them, you got the 4 together, right? 4, in my experience, isn't too much better than 3, though, on a super speedway.
No, but any little bit helps, and they do have 2 a little further back, about a straightaway behind them. I believe that's the 719 back there. So it's always a strategy. They could maybe back off just a little bit, let those 2 catch them, and then they got 7 cars, or 6 cars, sorry. 6 cars versus 3, you're definitely going to be getting an advantage there.
Yeah, once you double them up, you get the advantage, right?
Yeah, you're looking for double.
These top 3, they're going to get a 4th. Roger Nebelset going to go a lap down and kind of get in line behind Josh Boyer in the 41. He'll probably look to try to stay in that position so he can snag a lucky dog here when we get to that halfway break. Or if there is a caution before then.
Yeah, good move here. Going to settle in with these front runners here. He's got the speed too. He only spun.
Folks, would like to remind you that we got a bunch of great racing coming up here on JTN throughout the week. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. Next time out is tomorrow night, of course, Maverick Cup Series from Martinsville, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Then on Thursday night, it's the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series' turn from the Paperclip at Martinsville. 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. And then, of course, next Monday, it all comes down to the SRA National Championship race from the Michigan International Speedway. Coverage for that one, again, beginning at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Coverage start times all over the place. That's why you want to make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. You won't miss a second of any of the action right here on JTN. My reads are on fire tonight, Weaver.
Doing good, Joe. You're doing good.
Sometimes you gotta verbalize it for yourself, right? Vocalize it.
Speaking of on fire, this battle for the lead heating up. Josh Boyer on the outside of Rich Knappich. Been side by side for a couple laps now.
Of course, Roger pretty keen to help his teammate, right?
Yeah, it seems like Josh Boyer's been getting a lot of the help up top, but running that high side, he's got a disadvantage in running a longer line through the corners. He catches him a little bit on the backstretch, falls a little bit in the corners.
He'll lead that lap in the 41 Top Golf Mustang. See if he can get clear of the 6. So you got two Fords up there battling for the lead. The 51 a lap down. The 60 around Milky just kind of hanging out in the back there. Just watching these guys, egging them on. Saying, hey, why don't you go rough them up? No, you go rough them up, you know? Wouldn't mind to see the two leaders make a little contact.
Now we're on Milky doing the sit and wait strategy. A very good strategy.
I think you have a couple good, I believe, clips right here on JTN in that sit and wait strategy, huh?
Yeah, it does seem to work out well. Some people like to stick their nose up at it, but you really just got to do what you have to do to put yourself in a good position to win these races. And sometimes sitting and waiting and letting things, unfold in front of you is the best possible way to get that win for yourself.
Saw Wade Driscoll up there into the wall through turns 1 and 2. Last time we went by. Boyer just, he got the outside line work, and he was able to pass for the lead coming through the straightaway, but never able to clear the 6. And that's as we watch throughout this race, it's going to be interesting to see when we get back lined up, when we get back formed up as an entire field at halfway or caution or whatever it may be. How do the drivers race different than the initial start to the race, right? A lot of guys really careful. We saw this at Daytona earlier this year. The first half of the race went by really, really quick. And then when we got into that second half, everyone realized that it was time to put the foot down on the loud pedal and try to work your way up through the field.
Yeah, Joe, I think we were seeing it in that first little bit there from Tom Faskhouse. He was really putting the pressure on all the cars in front of him. These drivers can get good runs. I think they were just choosing to back off and kind of save their stuff there. I think we will see some tight racing as we get down after the stage break. Halfway break, rather. As all those laps tipped away with the 41 of Josh Boyer and the 6 of Rich Napick side by side there, allowed that second group down to 3 cars now, allowed them to catch up just a little bit. They're pulling away now that they've singled back out here at the front, but maybe they saw that when they were running side by side, and Josh Boyer thought better of it, figured he'd hop back in line.
And they're distancing themselves from that 60 car, and as Napick looks like he's going to be coming down the pit lane. Really easy approach. Milky also coming down.
Sure, Napick was glad to see that 60 coming in behind him. The last thing he'd want to do was pit all alone here. The 41 of Josh Boyer and Roger Nebelsick going to be hitting the pit road this time by.
Also going to see Rich Bankel and Tom Faskhouse coming down, so that's the rest of your leaders. Wait, Driscoll, there's a car around coming off of turn number 2. That's Aiden Roberson. Catch a replay of what happened here for the 48. Looks like he's going to get up onto that transition. Now, the transition below that red line, right? It's still banked a little bit to make the transition to the flat a little bit easier, but you saw that 48 was up on the banking with the right wheels still below that red line, and then down on with the left wheels on the flat, so probably why that car got a little disrupted.
Yeah, it's probably one of those instances. A lot of transitions on these tracks. You really need to pick whether you want to be above that line or below it. You can't spend too much time straddling the line, or it'll end up going around on you.
You see Roger Nebelsick trying to get in front of the 41 of Josh Boyer. Boyer was your leader coming to the pit lane. Nebelsick going to try to get that lap back the hard way, it looks like. Try to stay with the 48 and 44. Dan Rubino, Nebelsick going on by Bino there. At Hobo Racing Chevrolet. 48 going to get a little loose there on the outside. Still a little loose.
You see pitting a lap later has really worked out well for this 41 of Josh Boyer. Is going to come out to a straightaway lead here on the 6 of
There you see second and third, Rich Knappich in the 6, Ron Milkey in the 60, and like you said, a whole straightaway lead for the 41. He can just kind of coast straight now behind this group of cars. So all these guys in front of him, they're probably going to race him pretty hard to stay on that lead lap.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You're seeing a hornet's nest up in front of you. You want to keep enough room between you and them so you have enough time to get it woed up if something was to happen here.
And Blair, with the bonus points he's racked up through 17 wins here this year in the TMP and ASRA combined championship. He's in that 41. He's cruising to Michigan next week, but he still wants to make sure he has a strong finish here tonight. You never want to go into the next race without any momentum, especially one as quick and as fast and as crazy as we've seen the Michigan International Speedway be with the Indy cars. So if you're Josh Boyer right now, sitting behind these guys, not that bad of an idea. You're gonna have to probably make one. You're gonna have to make one more pit stop here before the end of the first half of the race. Be calm. You've gained time on these guys on pit road every single time. You can probably do it again if they don't execute as well as you do. That's the recipe here to get around these guys. It's not to try to pick them off one by one, put them in a lap down.
Yeah, no, especially with them singling out in front of him now, I think he's going to want to just, stay in line and work with these guys, get a gap on second place Rich Finkel. Or not Rich Finkel, I'm sorry, Rich Knappich.
There's a lot of R's here. You got 2 Riches, a Roger, a Rod.
Just having a case of the Mondays over here, Joe.
What, you didn't enjoy your Grammy party?
I enjoyed watching the Grammys last night. It was a change of pace and entertainment for me. I'm not usually one to watch an award show, but after what happened at the Oscars, I figured, what do I got to lose?
To the battle for second, Rich Knappich, Ron Milkey. If you're Wade Driscoll in the 78 right now, you're really hoping that those guys in front of Josh Boyer don't go a lap down. He'd be in the position to claim the lucky dog.
Yeah, absolutely got your fingers crossed here, but I think by the looks of it, Josh Boyer is pretty content here to stay last in this line and putt around till his last pit stop of the first half.
See this second pack of cars. You got Tom Fascals, our winner last week from Phoenix with the late models. Rich Finkel, one of the championship contenders for the overall title. Rod Weston, who was eliminated from it after a engine failure early in the race last week in Phoenix, so just looking to get some good runs here to finish the year. Doug Palmer, of course, in the championship running as well in that 108. So a lot of drivers still with a lot on the line tonight as we go to this lead. I do it with air quotes, pack of cars. They're picking up the 7, it looks like, Mike Hartman. Nebelsack looking to the inside, make a pass for position. And that's 2 drivers battling for the championship here in the Cup Series, so every position matters. Oh, contact with 7. 48, a little bit of lag into the 7 car of Hartman. Hartman into the wall, going to lose a lap and going to lose the draft weaver.
Tough break there for Hartman. He finally got some help, got some friends, figured he's going to get in the draft and, set sail here, but
nope.
A little bit of contact and up in the wall in 1 and 2. Thankfully, he was able to gather it up against the wall there and didn't cause any bigger accident from that.
And Rubino now trying to find a way around Roger Nebelsack. And Bino had a good car last week, and the wheels seemed to fall off the wagon through the middle part of that race.
He was running real well, and there was a lot of happenings in the mid race of that Phoenix race, Joe. It was very fun race to watch. You never knew what was going to happen next.
Josh Boyer still your leader here, working lap 50, closing in on that last pit stop here before the halfway break. So happy you're joining us here on JTN on a Monday night. Would like to remind you that if you haven't already, please drop a sub here on YouTube. It does so much to help support us. We're closing in on that 1,000 subscriber mark that would just mean so much to us, all of us here on JTN. We're going to do a merch giveaway on our social media as well once we get to that 1,000 subs, so you're going to want to make sure you're following us over there as well. Stay up to date with that, but once again, cannot thank you folks enough for tuning in here to JTN on a Monday night. Start off your week right with the TMP Cup Series season finale.
Looks like the 4 of Tom Moose is slowing down just a little bit. Josh Boyer looking to get around him here now, going through 3 and 4.
And this might be where you see some guys maybe just foregoing pitting at the halfway break and taking a wave around. I think that might end up being the strategy for some of these guys like a Wade Driscoll. Some of these guys up ahead of Boyer in the 41 that haven't had the best pit stops tonight. Crews have seemed to be a little off as Dan Rubino got to get tight off of turn number 2. Going to go up, have a little flirt, have a little talk with the outside wall.
It is very possible you could see some strategy where you maybe save a couple laps of fuel, try and stretch this run out as far as you can. Like you said, stay out on the stage break, take that wave around, get back on the lead lap.
Lead lap, oh so important. Bino now a lap down as well. So you got a close battle for that lucky dog position. Second still hasn't changed hands. Rich Knapik still sitting in that position with Ron Milkey there in third. Further on back, Tom Fastcow still leads this second big pack of cars.
Tom Moose is going to get around Rubino for the moment for that lucky dog spot.
Musa coming to the pit lane. Bino gonna do the same. He's Josh Boyer. Roberson has come down the pit lane. Exit.
Second and third place car, Rich Knapik and Ron Milkey going to be coming down this time. Little trouble getting slowed down there for Tom Fastcows. See if he gets a penalty. He was on the outside pulling in there when they got to the box.
Well, you know, sometimes you have the crew chief calling you clear and in and out of the box, and sometimes the crew chief just can't see everything down here on the pit lane, Weaver. So 51 coming into his box as the 6 exits through it. Thank the Lord that these are virtual crews here.
Looks like our second and third place cars picked up a friend. They're going to be coming out with Dog Palmer this time, and now their 2-car train has become a 3-car train.
And that's not good news for Palmer, who he was pretty far behind these guys, wasn't he? So he's had to have gone a lap down.
I think he might have caught up. Looks like he's up into 4th now.
Well,
maybe
right.
a slower stop there from.
Maybe a 2-tire stop, or just some gas.
We're gonna have to go check out with the pit road reporters, see what they have to say. See what kind of tomfoolery has been pulled here, but it's a big jump there, like you said, for the 108 up into what would be 3rd place once we cycle through here, or is currently now cycling through.
Business has picked up after that last stop here before the break.
Looking at the timing and scoring, Josh Boyer was able to pull out another about 6 seconds on that pit stop, now up to a 12-second gap on second place. That all will be erased here as we come closer to that halfway break, but something to be said about that pit strat. He's been able to stay out an extra lap, and it's really paid dividends in the timesheets.
Dividends are good to receive, I've been told.
Getting word from pit road, it was a 2-tire stop for that 108 of Dog Palmer, taking left sides only. Interesting call. Good call though. Get that track position as we come to this halfway break. You know you're going to be able to take tires again here.
Then what, do you come down pit lane, take your rights?
I think you probably just come in and take 4 under caution.
Don't mind that. Rod Weston is right now in the 5th position. That 19 mellow yellow Chevrolet, so good rebound. I think they're spinning through the grass early on in this race, and a lot of cars a lap down. 3 right now out in front of Josh Boyer, who is your race leader, all trying to stay on that lead lap. Moose right now the most in danger of doing so. We're going a lap down.
What they're getting dicey back in this second pack right now, Joe. It's not helping them catch up, but might as well race it out. You know you're going to get that caution here soon.
I don't think they care about that. I think they're just trying to get those extra points. I think this shows us what the two left side tires are doing too to that 108. So I think to your point, probably a 4-tire stop throughout the rest of the race, unless we get a short run to the end.
Yeah, or you could be right, Joe. I think maybe if you take the left sides, then you know they ain't going to be wearing as quickly as your rights. So you put those fresh right side tires when you know you're going to have possibly a green flag run after that yellow. Just take your lefts now and save some time.
Saw Fast Cows make a pass there, not for position. 33 still a lap down. Josh Boyer, your leader. Again, coming to the halfway break. The end of lap 66. So Josh Boyer going to take home the first half victory here. We're under caution. Boyer, your leader. As Rich Napick going to come off of turn number 4 and take home second here. And for Napick and company, they got to be thinking about how they're going to manage this gap because Boyer put a licking on him.
Yeah, if I'm in that 6 crew, I think I'm going to be keeping an eye on what that 41 does as far as pit stops go and how he runs this race. It seems like staying out as long as you can really paid off there. He was able to get a gap on him every stop. Going to be wanting to follow that same strategy if you want a chance at this victory.
I think being more aggressive coming down the pit lane too. We've seen that 41 commit a lot later than these other guys to come down pit road. Is everyone going to come on down? It's a 33 on the lead lap, and I misread that.
I believe it has him as a lap down. He should be the lucky dog.
Okay.
Based on running order.
Maybe that's why he's coming down this time. Just weird to see your lap down car coming down the pit lane.
Looking at the ticker, I believe the 33 is a lap down, the 78 as well. The 7 is 2 laps down, and the 44 is 4 laps down.
So Roger Nebelsick able to win the race off the pit lane.
For anybody interested at home, the 108 there did end up taking 4 tires on this yellow flag pit stop.
There was a lot invested in that strategy, I think, for a lot of folks at home. So good on you updating them, Weaver.
Can't leave them hanging.
Can't leave them hanging.
You know, Joe, we're halfway through this race. I think the people at home have seen some racing from this new Atlanta, and I'm sure they've all seen some racing at the old Atlanta. You want to put a fan poll up and see which ones the fans prefer?
I mean, we can. I think I know what the answer will be.
Well, you know, we can always hypothesize on an answer, but you really never know until you know, Joe.
What year did they first reconfigure it?
Ooh, you're asking the wrong person. 96, maybe? I don't know. That's the first date that popped in my head for some reason. I'm sure someone there in the chat can correct me.
Quad oval was we were reconfigured to the quad oval. Come on. 94, 97.
I was close. I can tell you when they did the newest one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, what Atlanta do you prefer at home? Go ahead and vote in our JTN fan poll. Is Roger Nebelsick gonna lead us back to green with 61 laps to go here from Atlanta? Green flag, we're back underway.
Great damage control from that 51 crew. We saw him go for that wild ride through the infield grass early on. Was able to stay out in front, stay on that lead lap just enough, and came out of this stage break with the lead.
Rod Weston making a pass to the inside around Milky for position. So Nebelsick, your pole sitter, back out in front by a healthy margin. Got 2 other Fords right there behind him. Arch Fenkel and the 2 kind of odd man out right now on the outside. Shuffle to the back of this pack. Dane Rover sitting to the inside of Rod Weston for the 4th position. Now going to look for 3rd. Oh, you don't want to be on that apron, Aiden.
No, you saw in the hole open there below the 6th. Tried to take it, got a little too low on corner exit. He's going to lose that spot that he got from Rod Weston. Going to have Dan Rubino on his outside now.
Well, you got to be careful, too, with hitting that. Again, we talked about it. The transition, it's not abrupt, but you can definitely feel the difference when you get those left sides off below that red line.
Absolutely. As you see Rich Napick here looking for 2nd. Going to get it from Josh Boyer as Josh Boyer continues to free fall on that top line.
No help whatsoever behind the 41. Going to fall behind the 4 now of Tom Musa. That was the guy who was trying to put a lap down before that caution.
No friends on the high side for the 41 of Josh Boyer. Looks like he's got a gap back there behind the 108. Nope. 7's going to get below him.
Still falling back to the front of the field. Weston now in the 19, going to get in line as Dan Rubino all over the back bumper of the 48 of Roberson.
Dan Rubino set it 2 laps down, fighting to stay on that lucky dog spot, maybe even get one back the hard way. We're seeing these guys a lot tighter this run, Joe.
I think we got past the feeling the track out stage.
I think so, as well as the 6 of Rich Knapp is going to get by Roger Nebelsack, take over the lead here. Pushed by that 48 of Roberson.
Thank you, Ryan. That was your favorite viewer, Weaver.
Aw.
Roger Nebelsack to the outside. Bino going to get by as Roberson now to the inside of Rich Knapp. At contact there between the 19 and the 44. 44 into the outside wall. Nebelsack into the outside wall. Bino round in front of the field. Caution going to come out. Wait, Driscoll's hard to the inside wall by pit entrance. And that's our first natural caution of the race.
What a time for that 48 of Aiden Roberson to take over the lead. Gonna get the caution out, gonna lead some more laps here.
Well, I have to think everyone's going to come down the pit lane, too. Kind of put you in a 2-stop window to make it to the end of the race. You see what happens there. 44 up into the outside wall. Nebelsack nowhere to go. Looks like Bino got into the back of the 19 of Weston, and that kind of a little bit of that bumper grab we always love to talk about. A little bit of a lick there from the 108.
Yeah, slight lick there. You saw that 44 Dan Rubino fighting hard to get those laps back. Is really all you can do when you're stuck 2 laps down here. Unfortunate break for Nebelsack there, getting caught up in the outside wall.
Wait, Driscoll at the back of your screen, spin it around. Well, all right, pit stops. Here we go. Tom Moose and Rich Fenkel both going to stay out.
Josh Boyer and the 41 gonna win your race off pit road, followed by the 6 of Rich Knappik and the 60 Ron Milkey.
Boyer, he's pulling to the inside. Oh, just to let the 7 on by. The lucky dog. See if these 3 decide to come back down the pit lane, or if Boyer back down and Musa and Finkel for the first time down pit lane. That's interesting. Did you catch what happened with the 51s also going to come down? So kind of all the Fords in the field on the lead lap coming down, except for the 6.
You know, it could be one of those things. We see it on super speedways a lot, where you're going to be going back down every time until you go green, just to make sure you have the absolute most fuel in there.
Make sure it's packed full.
Yeah, you don't want to be lower on fuel in the field. If you could have a little bit more, you're going to be happy.
Rich Knappik going to lead us back to green. Ron Milkey, Tom Fastcows, Aiden Roberson, and Rod Weston, your top 5 for the restart.
Definitely, though, with those people coming down that second time around, some strong cars in the back of the field here. It'll be interesting seeing them working their way through the field.
Race car gonna come down. Rich Napick with control here for the restart. Into that Geico restart zone we go. Green flag. We're back underway here from Atlanta.
Everybody getting down and away clean here. You know, Joe, it's going to be interesting to see if we can see that second line form. We've seen some drivers get stuck up in that high side, but never really were able to get any help. Maybe if you get some help there, I wonder how usable that second lane is through these corners.
60 Milky getting stuck there on that second lane. Weston cutting the course a little bit there. The tri-oval. See if he gets a penalty for that. Is Roberson to the inside of Fast Cows and now looking to the inside of Napick for the lead. Napick able to pull back down the back straightaway, use some of that momentum from running the middle line. Roberson going to wash up the track a little bit, but into the second spot. Fast Cows third, Weston fourth.
Kind of interesting watching these drivers navigate 1 and 2. It looks like it really wants to drift up to you coming out of turn 2, and if you're on that bottom line, it almost seems like it really wants to track down the hill and pull you onto that apron.
Are magnets in these cars? Magnets down there on the apron?
I don't know. I know a few years ago we had Digger down there building tunnels. You never know what he's up to these days. He might be trying to play some games on these drivers.
What do you think about the Fox sketches in the pre-race? Better or worse than the Digger cartoons?
Oh, I was always a big fan of Digger. That was a great promotion, a great way to have some fun with a new, interesting camera angle.
Roberson to the lead. Now Fast Cow's going to look to his inside for that lead position in the 33 Mopar Dodge Challenger. Good looking car there.
You're getting dicey up here at the front, Joe. Tom Fastcow's going to be taking the lead here from Roberson.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like the Digger stuff. Thought it was a good way to get kids involved too, looking back on it.
Yeah, I remember they had some die cast, some stuffed animals at the haulers. Those are always cool.
So, we're looking at this lead, right? Dan Rubino there on the outside, around Milky further on back. Rubino kind of gonna get hung out to dry there on the outside. We're watching this battle for the lead. As Roberson and Fast Cow. These are two guys tonight that have really been able to pass guys by themselves for the most part, without any help from behind. Why is that?
No, they just got two real strong cars tonight, Joe. It looks like they really put in that practice time. Like you said, there was a lot of tire testing. I can assume these guys put in a lot of laps. It looks like they really know where and when to take a run. I also think that there's just a lot of shuffling going on right now. We're seeing some crazy driving. Tell you how these drivers feel about it. Look towards the back of the field. You see Roger Neville second, Josh Boyer kind of running by themselves a couple seconds off the pack.
I think that tells you what they think, right?
Yeah, I think they're expecting something to come out of this racing that isn't going to be good, so.
A fan favorite Dan Rubino update right now, running in the 8th position.
Oh.
We got a car on the apron. Got a guy of cars running over each other. Hartman into the wall hard. Doug Palmer collected. Wade Driscoll also involved. Caution number 3 out here in Atlanta.
What happened there to the 60 of Ron Milky?
that developed very quickly. I think you might want to do a little bumper grab noise.
I don't know if it was bumper grab there, Joe.
That was just a bumper push.
Yeah, it looked like the 7 had a huge run there. Not sure where that came from, but huge run, and before he was able to get it checked up, just got in the back of the 60 there. And went
They're all
around.
checking up.
Dog
like-
Palmer involved.
Yeah, it looks like Bino got into the back of the 108, and then the 108 got into the back of the 7. Is that what you're seeing?
I think so,
I mean,
Joe.
that's one of those, like, real quick reaction type of... Like, look at that. So caution is out. Pascal's bringing a bunch of them down the pit lane. See Bino staying out, Tom Musa, Roger Nebelsek's staying out, Josh Boyer. Well, alright, you're riding at the back of the pack, you're saving some fuel. Now you're staying out here. Looking about 40 laps to go, just south of that number. So it's definitely a one-stop race from here, Weaver.
Yeah, you see, they're staying out now, but I'd keep an eye on them. They might be doing the same strategy, pitting on the second lap this time by.
I was gonna say, they're probably coming down this time.
Seems like they're liking running around at the back of the field there for the 51 and the 41. Well, you know, Joe, we got so exciting there. I wasn't able to answer your question about the Fox skits that we have these days. And, you know, I believe people just care too much about it, Joe. I think it's really not that big of a deal. I think what we're seeing is we're seeing a much better on-track product, so there's not as much for people to complain about, so they're just looking for the next lowest thing. Now we see all those that decided to stay out that first time around coming back down. You see Rich Napick also coming down to top off.
Tricky, 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 Weaver. So gonna go back green with Tom Fastcow's out in front, Ron Milky, Aiden Roberson. Wade Driscoll, I do believe still a lap down in the 78, is that correct? Nope, on the lead lap. I don't know why I thought he was still a lap down. My apologies, folks. And then Mike Hartman rounding out your top 5 here for the restart. Pascal's with control here for the restart, coming to 91 of 130, 40 laps to go here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We are right on the cusp of making it on fuel on one stop, Weaver.
I think we might see some interesting strategies being employed here.
I think you're already seeing it. Look how splintered the back of this field is. Meanwhile, at the front, Aiden Roberson going to turn the 60 of Ron Milky. Rich Finkel, Rod Weston's around. Weaver.
Gonna collect a few here in a quick restart wreck.
What did it look like there to you?
Look there like the 48 had a big run going in the corner and run went through another car.
And further on back, 19 is spun. Rich in the 7 happens to the 19. Looks like now going to come down into Josh Boyer. Looks like they're trying to avoid the wreck. Rich Fenkel gets into the...
Yeah, hard hit for Fenkel. Looks like he was just kind of up and stuck against that wall. Hard on the brakes, couldn't get it lowered down enough. I think that's just one of those things that you're going to get with a tight, fast track like this. It's kind of hard to avoid with the type of racing you're going to get from this track.
So top 4 staying out here. Fast Cows, Palmer, Napick, and Musa. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Alright, Weaver, we sit here now, definitely being able to make it on one stop. How are you running this last part of the race if it goes green?
Well, I think we've seen now that that intensity dial has been turned up. These drivers are really going for it now. I think if you don't match that intensity, you're just going to be falling behind, and you might find yourself in a hole that you can't work yourself out of. I think now you just got to walk that fine line of being reckless and being intense in your racing.
This is one of those pull those seatbelts tight.
Absolutely, Joe.
I'm gonna be going back green with 36 laps remaining here. Tom Fastcow's out in front. Dog Palmer, Rich Napick, Roger Neville second, Wade Driscoll, your top 5. Had those green flag pit stops first half of the race. Haven't had one since. Couple short little green flag runs here. And let's take us through this first half of the second half of the race. So we're at the 3/4 mark, folks. Closing in on the finish here. We're going to crown a TMP Cup Series champion as well. That we'll just have to wait and see. Remember, it's the 6 of Rich Napick right now, who is your leader out of those championship 5. Then Nebelsack right behind him. I'm sorry, Tom Fastcows is your leader of the championship drivers. He's leading the race. Rich Napick, Roger Nebelsack, Josh Boyer, and Mike Hartman in the 7. Come back to green. Fastcows, he hits the gas. We're getting back to the line fast. Green flag once again here from Atlanta.
You know, Joe, I think we talked about it there before the green flag, but these drivers know we're seeing a lot of some of those drivers that were, trying to hang out at the back there, take it easy. They ain't at the back no more. They know they got to be up towards the front if they want to be there for the end of this race.
Nebelsack going to wash out high near the outside wall there through 3 and 4 that time. Got the 108 blinking a little bit.
108 Dog Palmer doing his little dancey dance in front of the field. Looks like it's getting back under control for him there. 33 Tom Fastcow still your leader.
Josh Boyer to the inside of Wade Driscoll down the back straightaway.
Josh Boyer looks like he's trying to get to his bumper of his teammate there. They've been working together all race long.
Out in front, Palmer now all over the back bumper of Tom Fastcows for the lead. Remember, Dog Palmer not part of the Cup Series championship, but definitely a part of the overall championship.
Caution flag is out on the track.
Ooh, 48 around in 3 and 4. Has not been the triumphant return that the 48 crew was looking for. Here you see the replay coming down the back straightaway. West into the outside, a block, another block across the nose, not clear. Both cars hard into the outside wall there in 3. Looks like a decent amount of damage on the back end of the 19 and the 48.
2 tough hits there in the outside wall.
Would you agree that's a block gone wrong there down the back stretch?
Yeah, I would say so, Joe. Definitely some blocking that it could have went better, but it did not. Ended up with 2 cars hard in that outside wall.
Once again, putting us in position, make it to the end of the race on 1 stop. Everyone going to come down the pit lane at the front that didn't last time. That's Pascal's, Palmer, and Napick. Palmer going to win the race off the pit lane.
Looks like most drivers there opting to take 2 right side tires.
I get those quick pit stops here late in the race, Weaver.
Can't be losing positions on pit road. Ryan Blaney fan, I know that one all too well.
So, Weaver, you ever play the fantasy baseball?
I have in the past. Haven't done it the past couple seasons though.
I had a draft last night with a bunch of our buddies, mutual friends, you and I, and drafted a player from Tampa Bay by the name of Austin Meadows. I'm not good with remembering baseball player names. It's a terrible skill of mine. And of course, you know, big Tigers fan here. And earlier today, just like very recently, it looks like, Austin Meadows was traded to the Detroit Tigers. So that's,
Well, you know that.
It'd be pretty good if the rest of my fantasy team got traded to the Tigers, but we'll deal with that.
You know, in my limited amount of baseball knowledge, I have heard the name Austin Meadows before. I'm not too sure whether it was in good light or bad light, but if I heard of him, it probably means he's done something of note. Probably good, but I hope that works out for you, Joe.
I do too. I think, at one point we might have had 5 likes on the video, and now we have 4. That doesn't make me feel good. So make sure you click that like button if you haven't already, please.
Well, if not, I got some news here for y'all that I know a lot of the chat will like. Dan Rubino getting the lucky dog that time by. Gonna be only 1 lap down now.
Wade Driscoll with control here for the restart. Rich Fenkel, Dog Palmer, Roger Nebelsack, Rich Napick, your top 5. Green flag, we're back underway. 30 laps to go here from Atlanta.
New faces at the front of the field. Wade Driscoll leading them off into turn 1. Rich Fenkel in tow in 2nd place.
And Rich coming to the front of the field here late, was in the back half of the top 10, just outside of it for most of this race, and now running in the 2nd position in that 2 car. Always knows when to turn up the pressure late in these ones.
There definitely see the pressure being turned up with like Roger Nebelsick taking a peek there on Doug Palmer going into turn 2. Not gonna make the move just yet. Letting him know he's there. Nebelsick got a hungry Rich Napick behind him.
See Dog to the inside of Fankel for second. Move Palmer up into position number 2. Rich Fankel going to lose 2 more spots, if not 3. 4 is the 60s round. Hard into the outside wall goes the Ray Bestis Chevrolet of Ron Milkey. Let's fetch you that replay. Like the 7, gonna just contact with the left rear quarter. Weston hard into the outside wall.
Yeah, looked like Hartman in the 7 there got a big run, went down to the low side, and Ron Milkey must not have expected him to have that run. Kind of turned down on his nose there a little bit.
So Hartman there in the 7 with contact with Milkey, and then contact between the 44 and 19 sends Weston into the outside wall. I don't think anything with malintent there, but nonetheless, the 60 now looking at a torn up race car. As there's more cars crashing on the back straightaway.
We got some tempers flaring here, Joe, on the back straight.
Oh.
That time around, Wade Driscoll electing not to pit. The 33 Tom Fascal's gonna take over that championship lead in second right now. Yep, you're all good.
So Wade Driscoll going to be leading us back to green. Tom Fascal's in second. Roger Nebelsick third. Doug Palmer and Rich Napick your top 5. For this restart.
Dan Rubino also going to catch another lucky dog here. Going to put him back on the lead lap. It now puts all drivers on track on the lead lap.
So everyone back into this race once again. We're back where we started, but only going to be with 24 laps remaining here from Atlanta. Any updates on what happened there down the back straightaway, Weaver?
Well, Joe, we've seen some hard wrecks recently, and just some drivers getting hot under the collar there. I think the race officials were able to step in there and get that sorted out, though.
All right, Wade Driscoll with control here for the restart. Vasquez second, Nebelsick third. Green flag, we're back underway here from Atlanta.
Everyone firing off well. They're coming down into turns 3 and 4. They remain how they were at the restart.
Now you play. Are you now back into the position of playing the waiting game, knowing you only got one more stop left?
Well, I think these drivers might have seen how many yellows we were getting there in a row. They might say, let's back it down for just a little bit here. We know we still got at least one pit stop remaining. This ain't going to be the run to the finish here.
Let's take the intensity and turn it back down to about a 7 instead of a 10.
Yes, I think so, Joe. You got to be able to manage your stuff here. Like I said, you got that pit stop coming up, and you can't win the race with the red car.
I've seen people try.
You can certainly try to. I just wouldn't recommend it.
Back up front as Vasquez getting closer and closer to the back bumper of Wade Driscoll for the lead. Trying to find a way around that 78 Mountain Dew Ford. Driscoll earlier on in the race, a lap down. Now is your leader. So that kind of sums up the way that tonight has gone, Weaver, right? That first half of the race, green, clean, the entire 66 laps, and now we've kind of run into this little spell. We're hoping, knock on wood, we're getting out of it. And these drivers, like you said, you got used to having these cautions. You turned your intensity level down, but now you got to start just barely kind of nudging it up.
Yeah, talking about nudging it up, that 108 Doug Palmer looking to the inside of Roger Nebelsick for third right now. Got a nose under him down in turns 3 as they're side by side now for the lead.
Side by side for the lead, side by side for third. Vasquez on the bottom, gonna get that lap in the 33. Gonna look to clear Wade Driscoll for the lead. He does. He'll put Tom Vasquez back in the lead in that 33 Mopar Challenger. Doug Palmer gonna go on through for second.
Doug Palmer opened the door for Rich Napick behind him. Be following through. Dan Rubino also following him up into the top 5 now.
Well, Rubino also just a lap down a couple laps ago, so good rebound there for the 44 up inside the top 5.
Absolutely was 2 laps down, stuck 2 laps down there for quite some time. Was able to get him back with those cautions, and now he's up here in the 4th position.
So up into the 4th position goes Dan Rubino. Your leader, though, is that 33 Tom Vasquez, and the 108 Doug Palmer sitting there in second. Vasquez leading the race, leading the Cup Series championship at the moment of your 5. Second of those, of course, the 6 of Rich Napick.
Tell you what, Joe, I'm not one bit surprised seeing this 33 of Tom Vasquez up at the front right now. He's looked like he's had a real strong car all day. It's just a matter of time before he was out here leading laps.
Well, fast is right there in his name, right?
Absolutely, you got to live up to that when you're carrying that name.
Update you on our JTN fan poll here tonight. Currently leading the way is the original oval configuration of the Atlanta Motor Speedway with 42% of the vote. Then it's the second configuration with 33%, and the new configuration with 25% of the vote. Thank you if you've participated in that vote. If you haven't already, you still got time. Let your voice be heard.
78 of Driscoll going to be our first taker for pit road here.
Like Hartman into the outside wall there in the 7. Ron Milkey also not coming down. Dino sits in fourth. You see Tom Moose or Roger Nebelsack. They're a little bit further back. Josh Boyer behind them. And again, we're in that window. You can make it to the end from here. So when you decide to pit, how much does it really matter? Because we've seen the long pit work tonight.
Yeah, Joe, I think from everything we've seen all race here, I think the call is to stay out as long as you can here and run that fuel cell dry. Hopefully you got some people to pit with you, because pitting by yourself is a recipe for disaster.
Musa trying to fend off Roger Nebelsack. 51 car was trying to get something going there on the outside. Nothing going. And this is one of those races where I still don't think we know who's going to win it right now. I mean, obviously, right? But it doesn't feel like anyone's really had a dominant car tonight.
No, not at all, Joe. I think if there's anything close to that on speed, the 33 has definitely been quick, but we've seen the 108. He's been up here. He's employed the strategy to get himself some track position, and I believe he's got the fastest lap time on track right now. You see the 6 behind him. He was running up front a lot in that early part of the race. He can get it done for sure. And kind of a newcomer there in fourth, Dan Rubino, stuck at the back. Maybe he was back there by choice for a lot of the race. I know he got stuck a couple laps down, but you never know. Anything can happen at a track like this, Joe.
And if you're a driver and you see that as Nebelsack's into the outside wall there in the 51, going to lose 2 spots. If you're a driver, does that improve your confidence? Does it make you go crazy? What do you have going through your head when, again, there hasn't been a guy? Because a lot of times it seems like drivers, they're quick, and everyone down in the garage area is quick to point out a car, point out a driver that looks like the dominant car for the weekend. Tonight, again, we didn't have it. So what does that do for you behind the wheel of the car?
It really just shows me as a driver that I have a chance to win this. There's no one person that I got to go out there and beat. It's really all for the grabs. You saw there the 33 Tom Faskhouse and Dan Rubino ducking down the pit road that time by.
Now coming down as we got to our TWB 10 to go, I'd like to remind you folks, you can now head on over to GardenLightsDirect.com, because from porches to patios and more, for all those outdoor lighting needs that you have this spring, GardenLightsDirect.com has you covered. Again, GardenLightsDirect.com, here on your TWB 10 to go.
Yeah, our top 2, Doug Palmer, Rich Napick, choosing to stay out there.
I think they're going to bleed those tanks dry.
I think so as well. You see Josh Boyer and Rich Nebelsack behind him. Roger Nebelsack. The R's are getting me tonight, Joe.
They're just getting you now. Looks like Palmer coming to the pit lane in the 108.
Palmer going to duck down, going to be all by himself out of that top 5.
If you're aggressive enough coming down pit road, I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, but if you come out and you don't end up with any draft partners, you can be in a world of hurt, Joe.
I think the one guy that's in the world of hurt is Rich Napick, because he's out in front of these other Fords. They're going to be running him down here. Granted, I think everyone's going to be coming to the pit road pretty soon. Looks like Tom Musa coming down this time in the 4. Josh Boyer and Roger Nebelsack there. Now they move up to 2nd and 3rd, behind Rich Napick in the 6, closing in on the end of this race. It's going to be a short stop, isn't it? It's going to be 2, if not no tires, and just enough gas to make it to the end, Weaver?
I think so. We might see some people try and gamble on 2 tires. We've seen tires kind of come into play later in these runs. If you try and run it out, it could be a call. If you take 4, you might follow behind. See Roger Nebelsack, Rich Napick going to be coming to pit road this time. Josh Boyer staying out all by his lonesome.
Roger really aggressive coming to the pit entry marker. Looks like he got it woed down. We watch Josh Boyer now, who's your leader, and will be the last of those leaders to come down the pit lane. And Weaver, something that, again, it hasn't been the biggest topic of conversation because we've had some really great racing tonight. The battle for the championship. All 3 of these drivers in it. Josh Boyer going to be the last of them to come down the pit lane. He's going to be really aggressive. You see him on the banking slowing down.
Some interesting calls here. I kept an eye on pit road. Rich Napick electing to take no tires. Roger Nebelsack only taking right sides.
The 6 is going around down on the apron, Weaver.
Oh no, those hot tires. 41, Josh Boyer, also taking no tires on his pit stop. Gas and go.
Quick stop for the 41 for Tom Musa. Looks like the next car to be able to catch that 41 to Josh Boyer, but Boyer already coming off of turn number 2 with a big lead.
And looking out back on the cars that he needs to stay ahead of, Roger Nebelsick falling behind Tom Faskhouse and Dog Palmer.
So a good strategy call from the 41 team's going to get them to be back out in the lead of this race, maintain that lead here through the cycle. Tom Musa there in second, Tom Faskhouse then in third.
It'd be interesting to see what this Ford Tom Musa does, whether he can. It looks like he's probably already lost the toe from the 41 there. See if he chooses to drop back to this group behind him and try and catch that 41 car in these closing laps. I think it's going to be close, Joe. It looked like they caught him close to a second that lap. They might get him just as they're crossing the line.
Oh, man, going to be 2 laps to go for Josh Boyer in the 41. He's really letting that car arch off the corner, trying to get as much speed down these straightaways as he can behind the wheel of that Topgolf Ford Mustang. Again, folks, just 2 laps to go. Tom Musa catching that 41, and like you said, the 33, 108, and 51, they are coming right now for the Ford 41.
They are coming for sure. Knocked off 9/10 on the lead there that time by. They're going to be catching a lot of draft here off Tom Musa.
It's going to be an interesting battle. Josh Boyer, your leader. He's going to see the white flag. Will he be the first to the checkered flag? We'll just have to wait and see. We're 1.5 miles, now less than that away from it. Boyer with the lead down through 1 and 2.
He might have just enough. I think this 4 car is going to create just enough buffer for the 33 not to be able to get there as they come to the line.
Faskhouse, big move to get to the inside of Tom Musa. Going to be contact. The 4 into the outside wall.
Ford hard in the wall. 33 Tom Faskhouse kept it straight.
But coming off of turn number 4 for the second week in a row, he's going to be a champion. Josh Boyer wins it in Atlanta.
What a strategy call there by the 41 team, taking no tires on that last stop to get them that extra little lead, and was able to just hold on to it there as we come to the line.
Right on cue, turn 3 got interesting to finish this one. Let's get you a replay of that incident. That's I'm not lifting kind of moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, last lap, last corner, you can't expect the guy to lift, and you can't expect the guy up top to give him any more room. It's one of those situations, Joe.
And Josh Boyer going to get to burn it down here at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway, your Atlanta winner and 2021-22 season Cup champion here in the TMP Racing League. Don't know what's going on. All right, I guess he's not going to burn it down.
Well, you know, last time we were here, Joe, they had some trouble burning it down. Maybe run into a similar issue.
Folks, remember, if you want to, I know there's probably going to be a lot of comments, a lot of questions about the track. Again, go on over to Wild Customs and Cars, or Customs and Cars, yeah. Here on, you can go on Facebook. I know John was in here earlier in chat. A fantastic looking racetrack. Sounds like it's going to be released later on this week. You're going to want to check it out again. Wild Customs and Cars also have a Facebook group, and you can, again, if you search it here on the web, it's the first search result. Some great SSO, I think is what it's called, Weaver optimization there. But again, go ahead and check it out. And again, a big thanks has to go out to John and for allowing us to broadcast this race, and TMP, of course, to use the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the 2022 configuration here tonight. So we move on to our post-race coverage. We're going to talk with our top 3 drivers. They'll see how they come on down to us. Probably some things to be sorted out there. After a wild finish. Going down into turns
Here we go.
3 and 4. He's the driver of the number 33. He finished his second part of that wild finish. Tom Faskhouse. Tom, you got a copy?
I got you.
There's a lot of questions I can ask you about the race.
All
I
right.
think what everyone has on their mind though is what happened there at the end.
Okay, so the second last caution, I believe it was, everybody went in, and those guys that were ahead of me all took 2 tires, and I took 4 because I was thinking, short pit a little bit, take 2 on the last one, which is what I did, but that became a compensatory move instead of a preemptive move. I should have took 2 when they took 2.
Mhm.
Should have zigged when they zigged.
Yeah, but when I thought the saying was when they zig you zag.
Say that again.
Nothing. I was just trying to make a really bad joke, and it didn't.
Oh.
It didn't work. You're good. You're good. The moment has passed. No, but Tom, a fantastic run for you tonight, leading 25 laps. We saw, and a beautiful looking car, by the way. We saw the contact there, though, at the end of the race. Any comment about that? I mean, it just looked like he had a really big run going down into the corner.
I did, and Tom didn't like it, but I was under him, and I had 2 wheels down under the red already, and he just didn't give me the room, so he didn't like it. But I tell you can race after 10 laps, so that's what I was doing. Yeah, I'm going for a championship too. I guess I screwed him on the overall. That's what pissed him off the most.
Hey, gonna be some hurt feelings after every race. Doesn't matter where it falls in the season. But Tom, a fantastic run for you here tonight. Second place, coming up short for that Cup championship, but I do believe this will get you moving on to the overall championship next week. Congratulations on that. And before we let you go, the floor is yours. Anyone else you want to shout out or thank?
Well, again, like I said, thanks to the 3 guys, the admins, for the work on the races every week, and for Rich Fenkel, who does my cars, who did that car. Well, actually, he did not do that car. He told me that later. That one was in the pack for whatever reason. Awesome car. But get a shout out to my sponsor, which is our contracting company, RV Solar, and thanks for the rest of the guys for giving everybody room and making it a hell of a race.
Tom, once again, congratulations on the second place run here and moving on to that championship next week. Congratulations. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
You ain't going to thank me for pushing you up front.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Moo.
Woof.
We go from the man known as Fast Cows to the man known as the Dog, John Dog Palmer. John, I know you got a copy, but man, oh man, a great run for you tonight. Third place finish. How's that feel?
Pretty good. I really drove my butt off, so to speak. It was a very fast track, very draft dependent. The pit stops were key. I only took 2 tires and 1 can at the end there, and I come right behind Fast Cow, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to stay behind him and hope he'll take me up. And I just hope I have enough points, which I don't know, but I might get in overall. I'm not really sure. I'm praying actually that would be such a Cinderella story for me. Go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say, get into if it comes back, you're in that. If it comes back that you're in that championship battle next week and with the Indy cars, how good would it feel to kind of? Is it validation? Is it like what? Why would it be that Cinderella story? And it sounds like it's a pretty good feeling.
I've had such a hard road this championship, and I've caught some breaks, and it'd be awesome. But you know what? I don't believe much in Disney anymore, so maybe I change it to the luckiest man on earth story if I make it.
There you go. But Dog, a fantastic run for you here tonight. Congratulations on the third place finish. Before we let you go, the floor is yours. Any sponsors, family, friends you want to shout out? Now it's time to do so.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank TMP and ASRA Racing. That's Tom Musa and Rich Finkel and Roger Neville Sick. I got his name right for once, I think. And all the other guys in the league, and for putting up with my crap sometimes. Sometimes I come off the top, but that's me. I'm never going to change. And I would like to thank JTN, of course, for bringing these races to people of the world. Actually, you go where you can get on a computer, you can bring up this race, right?
Yep.
They might even be watching it in Ukraine. And I would like to congratulate the 41 Josh Boyer for the championship. Well done. And that's all I got to say.
Dog, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And once again, congratulations on the third place finish.
Hey, Dog, you got fast lap in case it helps.
Wow. Well, that's a first.
Congratulations.
Wow, that's pretty neat. I just want to make sure, give that dog a bone. I'm talking about Bristol.
You will definitely be getting one after a crazy race here tonight. And all he was working. You guys made him work tonight. But Dog, again, congratulations and thanks for talking with us.
All right, well, take care of y'all, and I'm out of here.
Dog Palmer, driver of the 108, your third place finisher tonight. Last week we were talking to him after a second place run in a championship. This week talking to him after a first place run in a championship. He's the driver of the number 41 Top Golf Ford, Josh Boyer. Josh, you're down in victory lane, and this week you got 2 trophies to add to the case.
Yeah, 10-4, Joe. Good to see you.
Uh-oh. Well,
You got me?
I do. Weird race tonight. I think we saw you kind of dominate that first half of the race, and then the second half with all the cautions, everything going on, it seemed like was your strategy in that second half kind of to lay back when we saw all those cautions happening?
Yeah, it was definitely, I think here after that midway point, I got the field bunch back up, and you could just see the aggression, the second half of the race, kick up the notch, and didn't really want to be any part of that. But also the whole second half of the race was all about fuel strategy. I mean, from the moment we took the green flag after the halfway point, was just kind of doing the math on the top of the pit box there, and how many stops we need, when can we pit, when can we make it. Almost the entire back half of that race, even with the cautions late, it was still a lot of fuel strategy going on, and obviously that's what we ended up getting the W with tonight, with a half tank of fuel and no tires on last stop.
Well, the strategy comes in clutch there at the end, getting you to the victory lane, getting a huge lead and holding off Tom Musa and all these other guys that were hard charging there at the end. But again, 2 championships now in 2 weeks. That feeling that. How do you look at next week now? Because obviously you're going to be going for the overall title. You're going to be going for the IndyCar title, the ASRA National Championship title. Noah, a lot of times drivers, teams, go into seasons and they have this idea that it's championship or bust. And these last 2 weeks, we've kind of been running little seasons, one race seasons. Do you look at next week as a championship or bust situation now that you've kind of, you've obviously solidified that it's been a good year?
Yeah, by no means are we done. We've got one more piece of this puzzle to get through next week, and we have every expectation to be racing hard for it next week. So, yeah, we've been fortunate in the last 2 weeks and got 2 of the 3, but let's get that third one and get that overall championship. And I guess that's a Triple Crown plus one. I don't know what that would be. We hit all 4. I guess that's a Grand Slam, I suppose, if you want to go it that way.
There we go. Josh, a fantastic run here tonight. Great strategy calls there at the end. But But before we let you go, I don't need to tell you what to do. The floor is yours, buddy.
Yeah, thanks to TMP guys, of course, as always, running this, and they had a really great race tonight. I mean, we were fortunate to have this new track to try out tonight. I thought it raced really well. So kudos to the track maker and giving us the opportunity to race there tonight. Shout out to Roger, the 51 teammate tonight. He and I worked together quite a bit in that first half with pit stops. Even though he was kind of on the tail end of the lead lap, we still pitted together there several times and kind of got ourselves in a situation where we were really putting it down the field, which was really nice in that first half. And then he came out ahead of me after the pit stops. I don't know how that happened, but his pit crew did a great job there tonight too. So thanks to Top Golf and everybody. The golf season's kicking off this week, Masters Week, baby. So the important stuff starts this week down in Augusta. So look forward to watching it this week, and we'll see you guys next Monday for the season finale.
Gonna be a fun one for sure. Josh, once again, congratulations on the great run here tonight. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, sure. Take care, guys.
Josh Boyer, driver the number 41, your race winner and 2021-22 Cup Series champion. Weaver, a great race here tonight. I mean, man, oh man, a lot of great racing tonight. And we end it with Josh Boyer in victory lane and another championship trophy.
Yeah, Joe, I think this race was as advertised. We saw some crazy race in there. Got some fun fuel strategy there in the first half. You really got something for the whole family.
It was
Came
a great.
out-
You
yeah,
got this... Oh man, we're doing it. We're doing the thing.
Oh no, you first. First.
We never do the thing, and now we're doing the thing. I think, just to comment, the fun for the whole family. You saw the classic kind of mile-and-a-half racing there in that first stage. I really felt like. And then you saw the crazy super speedway racing there at the end. I think it was a really good combination. And now joining us, of course, you know them, you love them. They're the two lead officials here. It's Tom Musa and Roger Nebelsick. I think you guys got, I know the runs tonight, but I think you guys got some series news for us.
Yeah. Know them, yes. Love them, not so much, maybe. Yeah, we've tabulated the points and made everything as official as we could, and Tom's actually got the data in front of him, so I'll let him have the floor on who we're going to have in the finals for both the overall and the ASRA next week.
All right, here we go. It's Boyer, Kyle, Roger, Rich Napick, and John Palmer.
Did we get a tie again?
Yes, 22-42 between Rich and John.
Can you imagine?
That's I'm just not real happy right now, but yes,
I
that's
know,
what we
I
have. And then behind that is Rich Finkel and me with 22-40, so that's it.
Well, Weaver, I think hearing that, it really sets us up for a wild race last week. Gonna have a final 5 instead of a final 4.
Yeah, there's a lot at play there. You can, just by how close it is, we're still getting ties this late into the running. That's how close these races have been, and how hard these drivers want that overall championship.
And the Indy cars always get so close at the Michigan International Speedway. It's going to be a fun one next week, folks.
And for the Indy cars, it's Boyer, Kyle, me, and Driscoll.
And then you also got Tom, that highlights the point about the championships just being so unique over here too. You have 2 championships going on next week. It just everyone at home, you want to make sure you're tuned in next week. We're going to be live at 8:50 p.m. We'll run you through all the scenarios, run you through all the situations, the drivers to watch throughout the races. You're not going to want to miss that. Again, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time next week. If you want to find out more about TMP, you got any summer stuff going on, Tom? Any plans on that? I know
we're going to take the summer off, and then we're going to revamp for next September, and we have some cool stuff coming up.
Well, it's going to be fun, so you want to check out their Facebook page and also their website. I believe we have the Facebook linked in the video description below, and then you can get the link to the website from the Facebook page. So, again, if you want to find out more about TMP, find out how you can get involved, you go check out their Facebook and contact Tom and the whole gang over here who always do a great job. But, folks, with all that being said, it's been a fantastic race here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Again, a big shout out to John Norton, Wild Customs and Cars, for allowing TMP to use this track here tonight for their Cup Series season finale. We hope you enjoyed it. Again, you want to check out their Facebook page, Wild Customs and Cars, that is, to find out when the release date will be. and where you can download the track. With all that being said, though, we cannot thank you enough for tuning in. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. For all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for Joseph Weaver, I've been Joe Twansky. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're going to be 3 wide coming to the checker. Never mind, they're going to be... Oh! Turn 4 into the trioval, Whitehill and through the grass. It's going to be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
Off the line and a wrecking behind him. You have cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down. It doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in the 3 car.
Behind, they're going to be side by side again. Contact there between Cinder and Gordo for third.
Contact! Oakley into the wall. That's going to be Jack Healy coming to the line.
Jackie